Welcome back to episode 13 of the Golden Blab. I'm Kevin Lindsay alongside Adam Kramer and two-time Golden Tee World Champion, Mr. Andy Haas. Andy, how you doing, my friend?
Good, guys. How are you?
Man,
hanging in there.
we all right. So we are getting on air, and we're saying as we're recording this, we're 4 weeks away. You'll be there in Vegas, right? At Worlds.
Yes, sir.
4 weeks from
4
right
weeks
now.
from today.
I can also report Andy and I are trying to determine where and when we'll be having a cocktail outside of just the venue itself, right?
See, you already like
Yes.
30
Yes.
seconds in, and you've already fucked up because now people are going to be searching for the two of you outside of the tournament to crash the party.
No, it's always, well, I'll start really quick with a story. My first memory of meeting Andy, it was, I believe, 08 Worlds in Vegas. And it was, we think we have some long days, but that championship you won, Andy, what time did we finish at the Westgate?
I think we finished about 4 a.m, maybe 3 or 4 a.m. It was Vegas time. So yeah, it was very late.
It was unbelievably late. And it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. And then I remember I slept for like an hour. I showed up slightly late, which I don't like to do. I get yelled at by everybody. And then we tear down, and then we watched football all day.
All day.
That was a blast. And I remember you got a tip, if I'm not mistaken, about the weather being shitty in that night game, in the Sunday night game. And this is before Twitter and all that shit, right? Like
Sunday Night Football was actually in Cleveland for our once a decade home game for Sunday Night Football, and I got the call that said it 40 to 50 wins, and it's freezing. Bet the under, and I think the final was 10-6. So
it was awesome.
So
we bet the under. We bet the under. We drank all day. We were all exhausted, but it was a blast. So therein lies my introduction to Andy Haas. So you love this stuff. You love this event. It obviously means a lot to you. Like, I guess my first thing, and we'll talk about the history of it, but like, what do you do to prepare? Like, you've been doing this a long time, but like for Worlds coming up, do you actually prepare mentally, or is this what you do? You play Golden Tee and you say, hey, when push comes to shove, I'm going to go out there and we'll see what happens.
I always find I'm at my best when I'm getting a lot of reps. For me, it's more of a physical thing because I can I've played for over 20 years. I know enough to see the right shot and to know what to do, but just that muscle memory. Even as many games as I've played, like if I go to a tournament not having played, maybe but a few games or not playing every single day, I feel like I'm not like where I should be. So I try to, at least before tournaments, even if I can't play a ton every day, just play some every day, as many games as I can, and that's how I get ready.
Outside of Worlds, what's your typical? Because over the years, you were, one of the perceived bangers, if not the banger, playing Golden Tee all the time. But now I think a lot of people know that you've got your own insurance business on the side. So Golden Tee is it's still there. It's still a passion, but it's just that it's a passion. It's not as much of a day-to-day job to you. So how often are you playing outside of the couple months going into Worlds?
Yeah, I mean, when the weather's bad here and there's, not a ton going on, I still do play a lot. But as you can see today, I was already out on the real golf course. It's tough at this time of year because, there is a lot of real golfing to do. But, like I said, I try to at least play a few games most days. And maybe if there's a day where I'm not too busy, play a lot. But definitely nothing like I was back in the day.
So back in the day, how did you get started? We know you love real golf. It's a passion of yours. I would imagine your entry into Golden Tee has a lot to do with it. But how did you get into this game originally?
Yeah, so I was in college at Miami University down in Oxford, Ohio. There was a bar we used to go to for happy hour, and you look over the corner and see the golf machines. I know that looks kind of cool, and then you see the scrolling marquee that said this guy won $5,000 last month in this contest. Minus 19, and we'll think, okay, you see play, and I got to the point where I could shoot decent on the front, maybe a few under, and then I'd always blow up in the back, whatever. But I'm thinking, man, I could probably get to this 19 under, and then I realized that was for 9 holes. The tournament winners were shooting those scores. So then I Google Golden Tee, found the blue board, and it just so happened that the next tournament was coming up in Cleveland. which is, less than an hour from where I live. And so I went there and I met some local guys, including, I guess you would say now he became my mentor, Jerry Arney. He taught me everything he knew about the game. He had a machine in his basement back when that was allowed. And I used to go over to his house and, being the young 21-year-old kid with infinite energy, I'd stay up and bang games all night and just try to learn. And so that's kind of how I got into it and, started becoming a regular at live tournaments and meeting a bunch of guys. And then I graduated college and without a real plan or anything. And that's right around the same time Golden Tee Live came out, where, you couldn't make $5,000 on one game like you could on one game, but you could make a little bit on a lot of games. And so, like I said, my obsessive kind of nature, being able to play a lot of games and, and every day or whatever, that's kind of really how I got shot off of.
What would you say that was probably around the time where you started taking top 4 finishes and kind of really getting ready for the first World Championship run in 2008?
Yeah. So the first time I ever saw the live game, I think it was at the Tournament of Champions in 2004. I had just won my first tournament 2 months before to qualify for that tournament. Then I won that tournament as well. And so that was my first 2 wins. And, that's kind of where I thought, okay, I belong here. I think I went a couple years out without winning anything, but certainly by 2008, when I won my first one, I think it was my 3rd or 4th appearance at the Worlds. And I was feeling like it was man, it's got to be time one of these times, and just everything broke right that day.
When you play, Andy, you've played in so many tournaments, and when I think of just what we've seen of having known you as long as we both have, do you still get nervous? Do you still get nervous first
Absolutely.
match, first qualifier of the day? Do you feel it?
I would say more so at first match, because if you're qualifying, in the top of the bracket, you think I probably ought to win my first match, and that's obviously when I get the most nervous. I don't get nervous in playing Paul Luna in the finals because he's gonna win, I'm gonna win, whatever. But so once you get a game under your belt and maybe settle in, and I think honestly, if you look at my results from the last 5 Worlds, you can see I'm 1-4 in the first round, so it's for me, you get a win or 2 to start. That's when things kind of start, cruising along. But yeah, for me, it's always been about just getting past that first game or 2.
When you won that first World Championship, unbeknownst at the time, that would be the last Worlds for about basically 8 years. We'd take a hiatus. But at the same time, Power Events was bringing true national tours back. And started, you started going to all those tournaments, and then you meet somebody like Mark Stenmark. Talk to us about, Stenmark as a player and as a rival, because, you and him and a handful of others for so long we're taking the top 4 podiums in those national tour events, especially when they were 50-person tournaments growing into what they are now, 120, 150, 200 people.
Yeah. As far as Mark, I mean, he was by far the toughest guy I ever competed against. I think I looked up my record against him recently. I know it wasn't. He beat me more times than I beat him, and including I think he had something like a 9 or 10 match win streak against me, with half of them being in overtime. He just always seemed to find a way. But it inspired me to continue trying to get better, and man, he was such a tough competitor, but I enjoyed going up against him every time, just because I wanted to measure myself against the best, and for a time there for the run he had, I don't think anybody would dispute that he was the best for a time. But I enjoy competing against all the top guys and anyone. I mean, I just love any kind of competition. Just gets the juices flowing for me. So.
One of my favorite things in watching you play in tournaments is everybody has a style, and you obviously play very fast. but you're also like, you wear your emotion out there, good, bad, or otherwise. And I think it's awesome. It makes for a great watch. But do you feel that in the moment? Like, I mean, to be honest, like the good, you've got your great shot reaction down. Is it just a vibe that you ride like while this is going on?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if I was always like that, but I certainly do seem to wear emotions on my sleeve more than some other guys. But I guess it's just an expression of showing and maybe it's what gives me an advantage has allowed me to continue playing at a high level for such a long time. Is I really do enjoy the game, especially playing in a live tournament. And I don't know, when I get excited, I'm not afraid to show it, I guess. But it's all just the way I feel in the moment, and good, bad.
It makes our jobs easier, dude. Well, no, but like that, you care. Like I think that, and everybody cares, obviously. But like, I know you're uniquely competitive. And back to what Kevin said, it made the matches between you and Mark Stenmark that much more amazing, because it was like there's money and there's accolades, but there was a level of I want to conquer this person that I'm playing with, yes. which is awesome, by the way, and you could feel it. And I just love it because it is a game deep down, but like when you watch it played at this level, just like when we watch a real golf, like these guys are like hot mics after shots, and like you know what I mean? Like it's the same similar thing. So for us, it makes our life a lot easier, and it's true to yourself, right? Like you're not it is a true, genuine reaction of something you've poured obviously an abundance of time.
Now, of course, we'll get to your, top matches and top, tournament victories, but I got to ask before, I forget, talk to us about Nashville 2023, that finals match against Luna on Nihon. We'll obviously throw the clip in here, but just, you and Luna, for as long as I've been around this game, at these tournaments, have going neck and neck and have produced some of the greatest matches. But what happened in Nashville may be, if it's not number one, it's definitely top three in Golden Tee, competitive play history.
Yeah, that was certainly, obviously Paul's another guy I really enjoy. We played seems like hundreds of times. That day, that match, I knew I had to beat him twice, and we played shot for shot going into 18, and then he makes it. It's like, man, all right, well, he's got it. And you like, especially what the shot was, because it was like a half cut and a half cut. It's not even like a full where I could, mimic his tee placement and, it half. And so you're thinking like, well, what are the odds I'm ever going to run this in a regular game, let alone having to extend the match. And then even in overtime, where I get a hole on the first hole and he does it right behind me, and it's like, geez, what do I have to take to do to beat this guy? But yeah, that was, as far as singular moments. It wasn't the biggest tournament or anything, but definitely like a top 3 moment in my career, I would say.
One of the greatest reactions to a match we've ever seen. I mean, it was unbelievable. Like the crowd, like it was. I mean,
Sean Gervais' face is like in my head. Well, and it's one thing. We've seen tons of matches where it's a par 3, it's a routine par 3, and whether it's in regular match play or overtime, somebody drains it, and then you follow it up with drain it yourself. But when it comes to hole 18 of a course like Nihon, especially, that is very difficult for the average player, you've got 100 people or so watching behind you, and a couple hundred online, if not more. And just, like you said, it's not the biggest tournament, but it's a massive victory because the shots that you two hit were amazing. Then, like you said, you guys hold out back to back on hole 1 of sudden death, and you end the first match with a par 4 hole in 1 a few holes later. It's just absurd. Consecutively. Yeah. It's like, holy shit, what the fuck are we watching? Because this is amazing. And I'm pretty sure the commentators lost their voices, and everyone lost their ears watching it, because I was not on commentary that time, but I was sitting right there next to the camera, and I just remember going, he's gonna net this. And I was like, wait, he actually just dropped this in. Like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yeah, it feels nice to put on a show. I'd rather a game be like that than, like we both miss a few putts or water balls or, it makes it very special to win a game like that for sure.
So we'll talk more about Worlds, but it's funny. The name Ship It, I think, for players that have played a long time, or like the number of people that have like, hey, do you know this guy? Like, over the course of many years, like it's a name that if you played a game of competitive Golden Tee, you've probably seen your name on the leaderboard. And so I've gotten asked this many, many times over years, but like, where does one begin? So we have a lot of people that have played this game a lot that listen to the podcast, but also a lot of people that are new players saying like, okay, I'm not probably going to be as good as this guy, but I want to know, where do I start? So I know over the years that you've played, you've given advice, you've taught people, we've captured a lot of that. Where does someone wanting to be good, really good at Golden Tee start in terms of understanding the game? And just like, you're talking like step one of saying like, all right, like I see this game in a bar, I can win money, I can play for fun, I can beat my buddies. Now what?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would go. I would find the nearest or the most accessible live tournament you go to. Most people are very accommodating of newer players. Find someone that's better than you and watch what they do. And if you're playing a game with them, you get to see what they do. You're playing the same setup. Obviously, you get to see what they do and ask questions and that's kind of like how I learned from, like I said, my mentor Jerry. He showed me, here, this is how you chip. This is how I do it. He said, we cut it through the break and then we always try and hit it straight. So that's a method that works real good. Putting, a lot of mistakes I see newer players make is they try and like finesse it or die it in the hole. You don't have to do that. You just fire it in the hole, but learn about the equipment, probably, if you're just playing with stock, that's not that's a lot harder than it needs to be. But I would say number one would be to find people that are better than you and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Now, I like that. I mean, you've seen it. We've all done it. You're new to a tournament. I tell players this in my streams or even at the live events every single time. Like, you go to an event, you're going to get hooked. Sorry in advance, but like, that's just what happens. It's a fun game. The community is amazing. There are so many between the three of us. There's probably a dozen weddings or so that we've gone to from people that we become close friends with through Golden Tee. To the newer players out there that, might see a couple of group posts here and there on Golden Tee Social or Golden Tee Fan. Like, talk about the community aspect and, just the friendships you've built up over 20 plus years.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, like you said, yeah, number of weddings, number of friends, number of states that I could go to and have a friend to look up. I mean, even in 2007, I went halfway around the world to Australia and had a place to stay from people I had met at the World Championship, years prior. So, we're all, kind of alike in that, nobody gets that good at a video game without having a certain, obsessive compulsive, temperament, and you like to party and gamble, and so we're just a bunch of like-minded guys, and that makes it real easy. But also, yeah, to your point, like, going to tournaments now, it's not just the Golden Tee. A lot of times we'll group of friends will go out to dinner, we'll go play real golf before, and so yeah, I enjoy the hang just as much as the game when I'm traveling on a weekend.
Yeah, you are going to play real golf at Worlds, right? Like that,
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 1,000 degrees.
Nice golf in Vegas. Of course I'm playing. You just got to tee off early.
Let's talk some Worlds. So I mentioned about the prep. We asked about the prep and what it does, but like, what does this event like mean to you? You've won it, and maybe less about the wins, but like, you like big matches, you like big moments.
Yeah.
So like, what does this specific event mean to you?
This one means everything, I suppose. I suppose I'd rather win this one than all the other ones that are here combined. Which I've won 2, but then I think my next best besides winning is like 7th. So I mean, it's it's kind of been feast or famine, and so it's been a while, 8 years now since the last win. So you do kind of pressure kind of mounting on yourself, like, okay, like, not even necessarily win, but let's just have a good result. So, it makes it interesting now, like you said, speaking to preparation, we just had new tees come out. We just had a new course come out. So, really we're relearning, we're shooting for the first time, six of the 10 courses that'll be in play. And so, it's just finding, trying to every little micro edge at the top level matters. So, what exact bag do I need on this course, or what balls are gives me the best, optimal chance. And so, it's kind of working through that now, and then just getting the reps and seeing what happens.
I'm glad you said it, because I didn't want to be put in the position where I'd say, Andy, I'm not a numbers guy by any means, but 2008, 2016, we're coming up on that 8-year.
Oh, trust me, I've thought of that.
and there's been only a handful of 2-time world champions. There has not been a 3-time world champ yet, only on the national champ side from back in the day. So it's, there's always that opportunity.
Yeah, no, don't think I haven't thought of that. We got that going. The Palms has always been my favorite casino out there, so I'm like, oh, maybe that's another good omen. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait, man.
So, advice for new players. I'm going to change it up a little bit, and we'll wrap up here soon. But advice for people playing in this tournament. Now, this is, a lot of these, everyone that's qualified will have other people that are qualified out there. But what kind of mindset for, close to 100 guys what kind of advice can you give others? And a lot of these you've played with and have competed against, but what's be your advice to them? Because people will be nervous. You mentioned being nervous. I would imagine others without the reps are going to be feeling it even more so on this stage.
I think, if it's your first time, and especially if you get matched up, let's say in your first qualifier, you're playing with, Paul Luna or Paul Taylor, or, I probably wouldn't try and keep up with them, and necessarily if you're not comfortable with a shot, maybe play it safe or lay up, or at least just not so aggressive. You can't make the main or the second bracket if that's your goal on one hole or one course, but you can certainly miss it on one hole, your course. So do your best to treat it like a regular round, one by one, but probably not try to do too much as a newer player. That would be my advice.
It's so hard, at the national level or even at the local bar, much less at a world stage, to not follow, because I've been around this game long enough that I know not to do that, and I still do it. And, I love the way you said that, because I know everyone thinks that, or a lot of people think of it, but they don't process what you said, where you can't, do much better in a qualifier from one hole, but you could potentially blow, your chance at the gold bracket or the championship bracket with it.
The best the most you're going to gain on the field on one hole is one stroke if you get a hole out, but there's no limit to how badly you can do on I got stroke limit, but so especially during the qualifier, matches are different, and it depends on the flow of the match. But in the qualifier, it's best to not take too many unnecessary risks.
35th anniversary, and this will be the last for me. Kevin, you could jump in. World's 35th anniversary. This is kind of a a massive year for the game. And I guess for you, other than Worlds, what are you most proud of? What are some of your greatest memories, as you can kind of enjoy some of the nostalgia of this, which I do, and without sounding old, right? That's the risk. Nostalgia is sounding old, but what are some of your finest memories that you've had in this game?
Preferably, I don't think we have to bleep out.
Yeah.
I would say my first tournament win in 2004, just because it was so unexpected. I'd only been to a couple tournaments, never even sniffed a podium, and just got on a roll that day. With with my mentor in house, rooting me on the whole way. And, I obviously, the world championships is great and everything, but that first time, just because it was so unexpected, will always have a place in my heart. And then just, not any specific moments, but just, all the friends I made in this game and the guys and the hang every time. It's just, it's what keeps me coming back.
Well, Andy, as we wrap up, I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but
oh boy,
when you win your third world championship next month, what are you going to do first?
Hopefully, by the way, hopefully say something polite into the microphone, like something.
Yes, that's
great. Yes.
So, if I'll tell you this, my son has recently taken quite a shine to the game, and he keeps somehow he's I don't know, conned me into this somehow, but he thinks that if I win, that we're getting a home edition in the basement, a brand new PGA home edition in the basement. We'll see what the wife has to say about that, but
yeah, I think we can help that a little bit.
But just as a quick aside, he's gotten pretty good. You and I have talked about this.
He comes to play with me quite frequently. His best is a 27 under multiple times, and he plays mostly full wind balls too. So he doesn't quite have the power, it's tough for him to reach those, top 130, 140 speeds. So he needs all the distance he can get. But he's always asking me, Dad, take me to play Golden Tee.
After I talked to you, I got my kids in a quick boot camp. Now, I am not the teacher you are, but it's not going well. It's not going as well as it's going for you. So maybe we could, this is another source of income. Lessons for it to teach kids how to play. Silver Strike? Okay. Golden Tee, not so much. All right. Well, Andy, we really appreciate the time. We will actually literally see you 4 weeks from today.
Yes, sir. 4 weeks from today. Cannot wait.
Yeah. Good luck with all the prep. Good luck with everything, man. We appreciate the time, and we'll see you out in Vegas.
All right. I'll see you then, guys.
All right.
Thanks,
for Kevin,
Andy.
for Andy,
Take
I'm
care.
Adam. We'll talk to you guys soon.